Penn State On Demand is a service of Penn State Public Broadcasting, and now you can support WPSU when you shop online. Visit WPSU.org/shop to make purchases from national online retailers, and WPSU will receive a portion of the sale with no extra cost to you. So start your online shopping at WPSU.org/shop.
Every generation has events that shape who they are.
The greatest generation defeated fascism in World War II.
The silent generation was defined by ambiguity and the forgotten war.
The baby boomers had Woodstock.
And Generation Xers had the introduction of personal technology.
But it is the millennials who could be the next great generation.
Join 15 Penn State students as they discover
what it means to be in this generation.
We are the Millennials.
Okay guys, welcome to a new season of We Are the Millennials. We have a lot of exciting things that we're going to talk about this semester, and in this episode we're going to talk about what it's like to be a millennial and to grow up.
You know, I think it's really funny. A lot of people, when they think about our generation of millennials, they think about kids that are our age, kids that are in college, but what a lot of people don't realize is there's a whole younger part of our generation that a lot of people don't think about, and that's the high school students. What was high school like for you guys?
I know high school for me personally was a little rough the first couple of years, but I feel like once I got settled in and adjusted, it went really well, and I had a good time. But it was a little bit of working, but once I got settled in, everything worked well for me.
I think that's similar for college also. You're starting a new thing, like the transition from middle school to high school, it's a huge jump, like 8th grade to 9th grade. That's completely growing years. Same thing from senior year to college, like you're moving to a new place. I think that people forget that the transition in high school is very similar to the one in college, and it should be recognized just the same.
And that's interesting because that's actually what we found in the first story. Is we went back to high school and we interviewed some high school students, see what high school is like now, how it's different for them, how they go through classes, both in school and out of school, the social environment, how it's different from even when we were there a couple years ago, and especially how it's different from other generations. So that's mainly what we looked at with this first piece on the young millennials.
I am a young millennial.
I am a young millennial.
I am a young millennial.
We are the young millennials.
High school for me is exciting.
High school for me is fun.
High school for me is busy.
High school for me is endless.
Crazy.
What you make of it?
There are so many opportunities, like our school has so many clubs and things, and you can really find your niche.
Well, all throughout high school, I never really took any hard classes, but that wasn't necessarily my fault. I thought I would be taking hard classes, but they've all turned out to be really easy for me, and it's just a place where I can come see my friends on a daily basis. It's just fun.
I can't live without my music.
I can't live without my TV.
I can't live without my cell phone.
We have technology that our parents didn't have to communicate like 24/7, like through texting or online on Facebook. But they never had that, so they had to either actually physically drive over, pick someone up, or just call someone.
I think the difference between a lot of high schoolers is, does texting or does calling become so important that when I'm in class I can't not talk to the person? Or is it just like I'm walking in the hallway and I'm gonna say hi, I'm gonna say I love you to this person? I think there's like so many variations.
I don't think it's the way our parents did it. Because my dad will always describe dating as you see some pretty girl on the sidewalk and you just ask her out. My experience has always been you kind of have to develop feelings for someone first. And then once you know that they have feelings for you, or you just go ahead and take a chance, then you start something up.
Some people look for companionship just for the sake of having someone and not because of that individual and their qualities. So I think a lot of high school girls are just looking to have a boyfriend so that they can say they have a boyfriend.
I'd say that like the whole idea of having your clique and only dating within that clique, and rarely do you see people dating people who aren't exactly like them, isn't realistic and is therefore superficial.
I am a millennial.
I am a millennial.
I am a millennial.
We are the millennials.
Coming up on We Are the Millennials, technology and dating and how millennials are dealing with parenthood.
In our next story, we focused on dating and millennials. And Jess, I know that you worked with a story. What did you find out?
We found that in this generation, millennials, technology plays a huge part in the dating process and how relationships are formed. And this seems to have differed hugely from previous generations. Do you guys think technology affects how you guys meet people, how your relationships start at all?
You know, actually, Jess, I think technology has been a huge burden on relationships and dating for our generation because everything has just become so informal. Everyone's emailing, Twittering, Facebook, and it makes me wonder, you know, where did the romance go?
I'm really thankful for the technology that we have, honestly. It really has helped out a lot, and it's really helped keep a close relationship in something that is surprisingly difficult. After I found out she was pregnant, we both felt we had to finish school. She had one more semester to go. She'd be pregnant during that time, but it wouldn't be impossible. We mainly communicate through Skype. I mean, that's our really big communication tool. I was able to get pictures of when he was actually born, and it was the next day that I got videos and things like that, so it was really exciting, honestly. At the same time, I'm thankful for some of the technology that we have and living in the time that we do, that I can just, in a moment, just text her or text me and go see him on Skype and stuff. I can at least see him, so and he can see me. That's good too, so.
Dating in this generation is completely reversed from dating in our parents' generation. I would compare it to test driving a car. First, you test drive the car, see if you like it, and then you buy the car. So it's like you hook up first and see if you really like the person. And then if all goes well, then maybe, just maybe, you'll start dating.
I think it's harder to find a good girl these days just because of the way that dating's kind of changed. A lot of times you'll meet someone and you'll either get drunk, like out of the bar, or you just kind of have been hanging out with someone for a little bit and you end up actually hooking up with them before you even get to the step of dating and seeing if you like them.
Technology definitely affects dating in several ways. You have text messaging, which both creates and destroys relationships.
The guys feel a lot more comfortable texting girls because there's not as much emotion exchanged through a text message as versus picking up the phone and calling someone.
I think that college is too short and too much fun to be in a relationship.
The dating landscape has kind of changed because people nowadays aren't as apt to want to be tied down to something. They want to have their phone when they're in college.
I don't think that our generation is necessarily doing anything wrong. We're just doing it differently.
In the beginning, it was definitely texting and BBM. Facebook and the internet also makes your personal life a lot less personal because everyone can figure out a lot of different things by looking on Facebook. If you're hooking up with someone or even when you're dating someone, you're able to see pictures and the relationship status, the difference between hooking up and dating and being in a relationship. I think hooking up is when you're drunk, when you're out. The different thing with Dan is we do a lot more, we go to dinner all the time and we hang out. So that's where this relationship is definitely different from other ones.
I walked through the supermarket with her and my stroller in the cart, and I'd walk past old women that would like look at me, and like I've had people come up to me and be like, "Oh, is that your sister?" And I'd be like, "No, it's my baby." And then they kind of just like, "Oh," and walk away. And it's kind of like you want to shake them and be like, times aren't like that anymore. Like, stop putting that stereotype. That's exactly what it is, a stereotype.
What I've seen students struggle with is seeing that they can still be a parent and a student at the same time.
At Penn State, students are often faced with everyday problems of studying for exams, managing their social life, and keeping track of money. But one Penn State couple faces an even greater challenge, being parents. Lisa Hatton is a Penn State junior studying secondary education. Her fiancé, James Downey, also a junior, plans on getting a diploma in mechanical engineering. But along with their education, they have another commitment that is even more important, their daughter Bailey.
And we started out in high school. Lisa actually got pregnant when she was a senior. And we went to prom and she was like 4 months pregnant, but nobody actually kind of knew.
It was a contraction. Okay. Now look, this is you right now, Bailey. This is all we know of you.
So when I had her, it was November 11th. I was in the hospital. It was right around the weekend, so I only missed a week of school, but since I only went Tuesday, Thursday, I missed one class, well, 2 classes. And then it was Thanksgiving break. You have a week off for that at Penn State. So I had a week off for that, and then we came back, took our finals, and had a winter break, so I had a whole nice month at home to spend with her. After she was born, joining the student government, and he actually got involved with student government. He was the president of the engineering club, so we were both fully involved with that, going to meetings every Monday, creating events, planning events. I actually had an office there, so she was always on campus. She was always the baby on campus, so they actually made a joke, running joke, that everyone called her the youngest Penn State student that doesn't have to pay tuition. And it was actually really funny, because really everyone on campus knew her by name, and she would run around. She'd be in the cafeteria, she'd be in the lounge, she'd be in my office. She loved riding the elevator up and down the building.
The chancellor used to come down and hang out with us. That was pretty cool. So like, she
The
was
chancellor.
that well known.
One organization that helps ready students for children is a Women's Concern Pregnancy Resource Clinic. Executive Director Jenny Summers is one of many employees that helps provide students with potential choices on how to manage their pregnancy.
I think fundamentally, the basics are there. I think that millennials can parent just as good as their parents parented or their grandparents parented. It's just going to look different. Students are kind of transplants in the community that they live in. They're not living with family. So they're going to learn how to parent their kids maybe by researching and looking it up and learning about all different opinions that are in the media versus learning it hands-on from a family member. And I'm not so sure that one's better than the other. It's just a different way of learning.
I know when we first got pregnant, our parents right away were like, oh no, especially my father, because they want to see something more for their children. They want to see you guys succeed, go to school. They want you to follow the blueprint life. Go to school, get married, have a house, get a career, and then have children. So when you halt that and the plan has a curve in it, everyone's like, oh no. But as long as you're strong and you're determined and you have good support, you can do it. It's very possible. We've been very blessed with the support we've had.
What's your name?
Bailey Downey. Bailey Downey.
Where do you live?
In Mommy's house. Oh, in Mommy's house.
Where does Mommy live?
At Penn State.
At Penn State?
Penn State, good job.
And what do you do at football games? What do they scream?
PSU. PSU, good job.
Definitely one of the most expressive, verbal, smart 2-year-olds I've ever met. They were great to work with, and I think that this just goes to show you that us as a generation can really do it all.
I think that it's so impressive to watch what they're doing. I'm older than she is, and I can't even fathom the thought of being a parent. And not only is she happy and loving it, but she's also a student, and she also works. And so it just goes to show that what people think may not be possible in this millennial generation, people are making it happen.
And Jess, I agree with you, and I think this says a lot about our generation, about the millennials. I think it's showing that we're a lot more accepting now than we were in past generations, which is a big step in making a lot of progress for us. So, more power to her.
I was really impressed by the fact that she's still staying in school and she has a job. I had friends that were forced to drop out of high school because they had kids, let alone going to school and having a job and making it all work and raising an amazing young girl.
And it's not saying that everybody's accepting of this. There are still people with those preconceived stereotypes. This is impossible, but after seeing this story, that has to at least change a little bit.
Coming up next on We Are the Millennials, find out how millennials are dealing with post-college job searches.
Millennials today are wondering if there is any good news out there for college students who are about to enter the job market. For many postgrads who still can't find a job, the answer seems like no. But if you ask Ruby Tuesdays worker and graduate Jared Shaystack, who doesn't have a real job as of now, there is still hope.
I'm making enough money working here, and I have a couple applications in right now to some good places, and I'm really hoping for the best.
Although it is tough right now, millennials are still keeping their hopes up.
With today's recession, millennials entering the job force are facing more challenges now than ever. While some are looking at alternatives like graduate schools, others think it's hard work and dedication that will make them a success.
Well, I think the millennial generation is ready to work, and we're ready and prepared to work, but unfortunately, because of the economic situation, why not just go to grad school?
Even if it's not like your ideal job, like get to grips with it. You're not going to get your job like what you want from like right after graduation.
PJ Mullen, program director at WBHV in State College and host of the Morning Zoo radio program, has had 4 different jobs since he graduated from Penn State in 2007.
Guys, some more snow expected later on.
Mullen thinks starting small and paying your dues can make you successful in any industry.
When you are searching for your job or internships, think small, think where can you make an impact. I did set goals for myself the same way everybody does when they're applying for colleges. You have your reach schools, and then you have your safety schools. So I had my reach jobs that I thought I had a shot with, and then I had my safety jobs that I knew that I'd be qualified for and that I could probably get. Just having access to so many things at all times of the day. I mean, I can pick up my phone right here and I can look up whatever I want to look up and have any bit of information ready for me. Organizing that information is the key. There's a million other people doing the same thing. It's all about standing out. So yeah, it's great to be able to use Facebook and Gmail and having a BlackBerry or an iPhone. All that stuff's great, and you have everything, all the news right at your fingertip, but that doesn't mean you can get lazy. Everybody has that now. How are you going to separate yourself is the question.
Director of Career Services at Penn State, Jack Raymond, says his office offers a variety of resources to students searching for jobs.
The office is involved in a broad range of services to support student career development and choice. And we have 3 major functional areas. The first of these is career counseling and planning. And our signature service, I would say, is drop-in counseling. The second major area then is recruiting and employer relations. We have ongoing relationships with about 1,500 corporations and governmental agencies, various kinds of employers, for-profit and not-for-profit. And annually, we conduct about 20,000 on-campus job interviews. And then our third area is career programming. And annually, we run about 300 outreach programs.
Mullen says it's persistency and using resources like career services that can make a millennial successful in their job search.
When you show up, you should have your references ready. Don't have references available upon request. Call your references before you go to the interviews. Have some demo tapes ready. Go the extra mile. I knew exactly what I could bring to the table, and I went in with confidence. And some of them probably, when I walked out, said, that guy's got a little bit too big of an ego. Or some of them may have said, that guy's exactly what we need. You're going to get turned down. You're going to get laid off, possibly. You're probably going to get laid off. There's more fails than there are success stories, failure stories than there are success stories when it comes to trying to find the job. So you got to just find it, and keep digging. But if you want to follow your dream to be in the broadcast industry, which is what I want to do, then be ready for a lot of crappy days. No, you're not going to. I got turned down from 2 jobs, in one day when I was searching for my first job, and that happens. And that's a struggle, and everybody's got to deal with it.
So according to the United States Department of Labor, about 46% of millennials age 18 to 24 are currently unemployed. And a lot of us are about to head out into the job market soon because we're graduating. What are your guys' thoughts and worries about your upcoming job search?
Amanda, I think technology plays a huge role in that now for our generation because everyone's getting information so much quicker on their Blackberries and their iPhones, and it becomes a lot more competitive for us. So I think everyone's trying for the same type of things, and it's just getting harder and harder.
PJ kind of addressed that in the story when he said that the information's available to everyone, but it depends on how you use it that makes you stand out. I think that's a big thing. Entering the job market, there's not necessarily certain career paths set for us anymore. And we have to learn how to take different elements of different career paths and put it together to make ourselves marketable to companies wanting to hire.
I think there's just a lot more competition in general. You know, Penn State, the College of Communications, talks about three-prong approach: internships, grades, and and on-campus activities. I don't think other generations had to have all those three just to give yourself the competitive edge. In other generations, having great grades would have been enough. But the millennials, I think this is how we're different.
I completely agree, and I think that in previous generations, they didn't start thinking about their jobs or what road they wanted to head down until their senior year, like right before graduation. Where am I going to go? It wasn't as hard, but now, freshman year or sophomore year, you have to start thinking about internships. Where am I going to get this experience? What's going to make me more marketable? So I think that the competition makes us start thinking about our jobs much earlier and maybe stops our whole college experience a little early.
So we're very fortunate to have the opportunities that we have where we can put a show together and really get a head start in our careers. So that's it for this episode. And until next time, we are
The Millennials.